And cue collective sigh now.
Sigh.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our little look at on a double beefer. This is Spyro Orange, the Cortex Conspiracy. One of two interesting little games, for lack of a better word, starring Crash and Spyro for the Game Boy Advance. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, this is currently the only game or selection of games. Okay, Iki, you go ahead and take the show floor. You got plenty to say.
Yeah, tell us what you really feel.
Yeah. This game, I hate it.
So this is a big crossover event, I guess.
And
how are they talking? How do they meet?
It's never explained.
they're just there, okay? It doesn't matter, they didn't think on it.
So Ripto and Cortex are working together to defeat Crash and Spyro.
And to do that, they have the oh-so-clever idea of disguising Ripto's Rhinox as both Crash and Spyro.
I
Professor
guess that works. And
Hunter, who is apparently staring into the abyss.
I've seen some shit, Spyro.
you don't want to know what's on the other side of the rainbow. I guess you could. Oh god, I just had a really bad joke.
What
I guess you could
Spyro's
say.
looking at?
He looks sad.
I just realized.
Just as I feel.
I just had a really bad joke. I just realized you could say Hunter is chasing the purple dragon.
No.
Da, da, da.
No.
I'm surprised no one's ever made that joke if they have already. But yeah, and Sparks.
No, it's the other way around.
Man, Sparks is sad. So.
So anyway, on to the gameplay. It's a 2D platformer, in Spyro's case anyway.
Oh!
Which, I mean, I'll just say this much. I wouldn't have minded having a 2D platformer starring Spyro, and, I mean, there's some semblance of decent gameplay design in this, but it's essentially, which, honestly, I think is a better alternative than the isometric stuff they did, like, beforehand. At the same time, though, this is only like a good half of what to expect with the game.
Half, you're being generous.
Oh god, that compression sprite.
This is...
Okay, about 30%.
So... This was now. You say this was made off of a Crash Bandicoot engine?
Yes, this was made. This was both games were made by Vicarious Vision, and they were pretty much made with the GBA Crash engine. And well, I mean, granted, I would have appreciated it was strictly a platformer type game, but that would be a huge lie if I did say that. No, this is mostly a mini game-a-thon,
and not even a good one.
I mean. It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I think it's an alright time killer, but at the same time, it's like, for what was essentially the very first crossover of two of gaming's most prolific icons, they could have done so much more than this.
Why is Spyro needing to drive a Jeep?
Whoop. Because the game demands it.
I'm getting PTSD just by looking at this.
Honestly, I'm getting that a smidgen as well.
You know what? I just can't help but find it amusing that in our lives as, young gamers, we've had two occasions where we have the opportunity to see a duo of platforming icons team up, and in both times, they're both a bunch of devil damn minigame festivals.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, it's like they're too scared to actually have a proper adventure with them all.
It's like they didn't even try.
Sony hasn't nailed that, crossover thing yet. They tried it here. They tried it with All Stars Move. They tried it with All Stars Battle.
This wasn't even Sony. This was purely Vicarious Vision.
I'm just saying, Sony properties.
No, this wasn't even Sony's property at the time.
Spyro was almost exclusively on the PlayStation up until this point.
No, only until the trilogy ended.
Yeah, I was about to say, because remember, they also had, Enter the Dragonfly and Hero's Tale, which came out before this.
And those were multi-platform.
Hero's Tale actually came after this.
This came out after Hero's Tale?
I would say...
Hold on. Let me rephrase myself. Technically, Spyro, Orange, and Crash Purple were built off of graphics that were
that?
Back up. Also, I'm going to say this right now. I agree with James, because had Hero's Tale come out before this, they would have clearly used Red and not Ripto.
Yeah, totally. And I know a lot of people wouldn't have preferred that, because, Ripto's the big, roaring antagonist that Spyro's ever had, and the only one he's ever had, even though that's a big fucking lie.
See, I enjoyed...
should we at least describe...
See, I enjoyed Shadow Legacy, even though that wasn't too bad.
Anyway, you were saying, Iki?
Should we at least discuss what we're doing with money bags, or Fozzie bags here?
Fozzie bags.
He does look like Fozzie Bear.
How about some trading cards chronicling your adventures now? But anyways,
Oh,
Fuck off.
As the game's biggest waste of time,
Oh, the trading
this
cards,
is
yeah.
the card shop.
The most there really are just, well, they're cards with the in-game sprites on them. That's it. And they don't
They're
really do
just
much else
JPEGs.
aside from that. Yeah. I mean, it would have been cooler if they were actually unique drawings, but no, they just reuse the same sprites you
this
see
is
here.
new.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck.
That's right. Now I remember.
Who's
now
up for tank shenanigans?
Now I remember. Now Spyro was the big minigame one, and Crash the Shoot was one that actually played like a platformer kind of. Or
Yeah.
Was that also minigames?
Well, I would
It's like
say,
they didn't even fucking try with Spyro's case.
I was about to say.
Honestly, you could just argue for both their cases, because they're both straight-up minigame-a-thons.
No, at least in Crash's case, he actually does platforming shit for his minigames.
Not usually, no.
A good chunk of them. I've
Not
seen the raw
really.
footage.
I also
Okay.
don't. I also don't like this particular series because it made Nina Cortex into a Dumbo.
Well, this is also Nina Cortex's first official appearance.
Right.
Is
Yeah,
it?
because
This is before they gave
This-
her a personality.
Well, no, did this come out before or after Twinsanity?
Before Twinsanity.
Really? That
Huh.
came after
in
Twinsanity.
Twinsanity, she still had no Devil Name personality.
As I was trying to say before, so I was so rudely interrupted. Hero's Tale and Twinsanity literally came after this, and I assume they they had the models on hand at the time, so they may as well use those to give us the sprite
Cross-promote
work
this.
in this game. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
I'll say right now, it is you can very much tell when they're just using a stock image as a sprite in this game. Like earlier when it was Ripto in Cortex, I could tell that it was just like a stock image of Ripto. They were using one of the scenes, like they're all posing for photos.
Yep.
I mean, they're pre-rendered.
Although the Riptomoto, I think, was pretty much ripped from Enter the Dragonfly.
Probably. Oh jeez, I forgot about Enter the Dragonfly.
I mean, a good chunk of the sprite work in this game is pre-rendered, so...
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, I will say this much: like, I did get both games during my childhood, and I'll just be the first to say I do have sort of a guilty pleasure with this game because I personally don't think it's terrible. I just think it's okay. It's really just nothing more as a time waste.
James.
Yes.
Yeah, I say.
I mean, you say this is a guilty pleasure. Look at this. This minigame has lasted for 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was
It's just Spyro in a tank. He's been in minigames before. I mean,
No.
have you not played the original trilogy?
No. We've been playing that minigame for 2 minutes straight. All we did
Yeah,
was win 10 gems and a trading card from
Hey,
it.
better 2 minutes than 5 minutes.
We got literally jack shit in the
Open the
minigame.
gate.
Oh, and here we have, like, a 2-second button masher. Not even 2 seconds.
Dude, this seems like a children's game.
Honestly, to Crash's Purple's credit, they're not quite as bad about that.
Sorry, what were you saying, Hype?
I was just saying, just going on to what Iki was saying about that one particular minigame, that's honestly one of my biggest problems with both these games, and I honestly kind of think that Spyro has it a little bit worse, is that the minigames themselves, not only do they tend to overstay the welcome, but they're also really kind of boring in the way they're structured. Like, it doesn't really require a lot of effort, and nor do you have, like, a lot of hassle to go through. Like, spoiler alert, we're gonna come up
Crash
to
looks
one
dumb.
minigame where it's like, there's only one type of obstacle you have to worry about, and they don't do anything interesting with it.
Like
Oh
this one.
boy, let's use Spyro's trademark flame ability by
With
tossing
Molotov
Molotovs.
cocktails. What?
Mazel tov!
No, Molotov.
I forgot to go there. He's dead.
Yay!
That can be that minigame in particular can be very easy or very hard depending on how you go about it.
I guess if there's one thing I will say in favor of Spyro Orange compared to Crash Purple, at least you don't have to replay the minigames.
Spyro?
Okay.
That was a close one.
Don't worry, I'm a dragon.
Okay. Shush.
But anyway, what was I gonna say? At least to Spyro Orange's credit by comparison, at least you don't have to replay the minigames twice.
No, you do.
Oh yeah.
For what?
To beat the game.
No.
Well, wait, in Orange? No, I only noticed
No,
that
in
for Purple
Spyro
because-
Orange you have to beat all the minigames twice.
Why?
You
What do you get for doing them twice?
think I know the answer?
Well, you
Trading
just
cards,
told me that
maybe?
you have to play them twice, so I figured you had the answer
Trading
as to why
cards,
you'd have to
maybe?
do
Also-
that.
It's a
here's-
stupid in-game excuse that I could sum up as, oh no, Ripto and Cortex have reinforced their portals that you have to fight them again by playing all the minigames twice. Once you do that, you'll be able to gain enough power to get to the goal and beat the boss and win the game.
Okay,
So-
I guess on that end, that's okay. I guess.
So let's
never mind
so
that then.
so fine.
But,
so
I mean, granted, at the same time, though, at least for Spyro, you just have to replay them twice. And Crash, you have to replay them twice while also trying to get the gems or time relics or whatever.
But at least you have a certain, a specific goal to go for. Like, look at this shit. This is literally just a vertical version of the fucking tank minigame we just played 2 minutes ago.
I'm gonna say something, and then we're gonna let Hype talk as well, which is that I think that yes, if we take all this into account, this is essentially a bunch of varied sprites, and the cheetah men. This is basically the cheetah men away from being a. No,
oh,
he's making.
I'm saying
an Action 52 joke.
I'm saying the point is that that's the idea. Is that this is basically this is probably like a few good steps away from being a plug-and-play game and nothing more, with a bunch of
honestly,
these things all
I'd play
skimmed
this
around
over
Spyro
Action
and Crash.
52, which
Well, of course, everyone would. But I'm saying that just the fact that, like, in general, like, this is basically a big plug-and-play game with a bunch of long games that stand on that by themselves would be pretty okay as like a cute little arcade thingy, but they skin them as Spyro and Crash, and now they have a big old game about it.
If they actually had, clear-cut objectives in the minigames. Like, look at that shit. What do we need a bird card for?
Altitude adjustment. No.
Where's a bird in this game? That's not a bird. Those are gems, and that's a mole.
Hello,
no,
Mr.
it's
Mole.
Blinky. It's Blinky. Are you sure?
I thought it was Blinks.
Are you sure this didn't come out after Hero's Tale? Because that's Blinky.
I assure you, this did come out before A Hero's Tale.
Okay, then I guess it was all big.
This was
big
technically Blinky's first official appearance.
Oh my god!
And even then, in the Hero's Tale, they just call him Blink.
His frames by
right. Also, hi, what do you have to say about all this?
Well, like I said, first off, that one minigame we went through is probably that's the one I was talking about. That's like the big example of how all the minigames are just kind of like. I feel like they're just kind of like slapped together in a sense of like they last too long and they don't really have like a whole lot of effort put into them. I think with just here are these mines that you have to blow up, and here's those gates you have to blow up. Hey, is that
I'll be right back.
Familiar?
I have to use
That's
the
because you went
bathroom.
through that same loop like 9 devil damn times.
Yeah. So there are trading cards, Spyro cards, and Crash cards. As you can imagine, it's a lot easier to get Spyro cards in Spyro's game, and harder to get Crash cards in Spyro's game. So the idea is that I guess they're trying to go for like a poke. This is their attempt to try and incentivize you getting both games.
And I think there is technically some kind of like interconnectivity between the two that you can use via that gorgeous Game Boy Advance link cable.
Yeah.
Hey, Space
look back
Invaders.
fondly on those times.
Hey, Space Invaders meets Brick Break.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I looking back on it, I'm convinced that they took this straight out of the freaking Crash Bash minigame.
Oh, probably. So, Icky, did you actually own any of these games?
Icky? Actually, no, wait, I remember. He said he had to do something real quick.
Oh, right.
Oh.
But yeah,
I assume he's probably just using that as an excuse, though, because he doesn't want to be associated with this tripe.
jeez. But yeah, so did you own any of these games, Hype?
No. I played them during my emulator craze. I don't think I've ever beaten any of them, though, because to be honest, even back then, I couldn't be bothered to.
It's long. Did you own any of these games, James?
Well, as a matter of fact, I did say earlier I own both games physically.
Sorry. I own both. I own both games physically.
I was able to beat both of them on the first go. I didn't bother with the second attempt because I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't feeling in the mood to go after all the gems or relics or whatever else you have to do with Spyro because that had to be a thing.
And I'll say, yeah, I owned both games physically as well. And looking back on them, boy, my childhood could have been better.
I mean, they're harmless. My only thing is that I don't feel they're, like, complete trash. I mean, they're harmless enough as far as their existence goes. But, I mean, I even remember thinking of this way back when, like,
new game.
I kind of wish these were full-on platformers and not a minigame-a-thon. But, of course, seeing how we can't play one game without the other, so welcome to Crash Purple, Ripto's Rage.
And again, at the end of the day, at least Vicarious Visions is doing something good with Crash.
Yeah,
and we have a really cool looking and we have a cool looking Spyro coming out soon.
And if there's one thing I will definitely give Crash Purple credit, they do the cutscenes better.
Well, again,
so it's agreed, Ripto. We'll work together to rid ourselves of Spyro and Crash. My genetic modifications to your army of Riptocs will cause them even more trouble.
I guess I'll be Ripto then.
Yes, Cortex, and dressing them up as Crash and Spyro. Our foes won't even realize they should be on the same side.
Hey, look, morality.
I'll activate the warp pad. Soon we shall conquer this measly planet.
So is this supposed to imply that... Look at that. That's ridiculous.
It is.
Peg.
But hey, at least they show the process of how it's done.
Oh yeah, no,
Spyro.
you do have a point. Like, one of these clearly had more... since our last adventure. Like, one of these clearly had more attention on than the other.
Yeah, and I'll just say this real quick. Like, a later cutscene will be showcasing actually... Well, honestly, no. That's all I can really say on the matter. Like, the Spyro... I will agree, though, that the Spyro cutscenes were... forced.
Static images.
It's static images and without a lot of intrigue in the dialogue, unlike this game, where it actually tries to justify...
Crash!
Whoa, okay, jeez, I was asleep.
I'm afraid Cortex is up to his old tricks again. This time he's realized... I don't even know if it's Zakuraku or Coco talking right now.
It's Akuraku.
Okay, they must be stuck.
Now it's Coco.
Oh, blue okay. Warpads all over the channel, you just took power. So yeah.
It should also be said that this game was literally released... Like, the last Crash game we had before this was CTR, hence, or excuse me, CNK, hence why Coco looks like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least this looks a lot more. The entire presentation value just looks a lot more like smooth for this. I feel bad for Insomniac.
Yeah.
They kind of got the short end of the stick with this one.
Well, to be fair, by this
Well,
point,
they're too busy reveling in Ratchet.
Right. By this point, they already given up the rights to... Or they had to give up the rights to Spyro, because that was Universal.
Yeah, and also because I've seen them talk about this in quite a handful of interviews. Not only did they have to give up the rights, in the end, they kind of didn't really know what else they wanted to do with Spyro, because again, and this is an excuse they throw out a lot, the fact that he can't really pick up stuff because of lack of hands made it really limited the kind of things you could do with him as a character.
But hey, look where we are now, where with the Reignited trilogy, they actually gave him opposable thumbs.
Alright. I am looking forward to that. It's going to be really cool to see.
Sorry, I had to, sorry, the Spyro game actually gave me a stomachache. So,
no.
Holy shit, we're playing a proper platformer now? What is this?
Oh, no, we
just swapped over to the Crash one.
Yeah,
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, we were talking about how Crash Purple clearly got more love and attention than Spyro Orange did.
Holy shit, this looks like an actual platformer and not a minigame hullabaloo.
Well,
Wait
it's still a minigame, but it's...
Unfortunately, though, Wiki, it still is a minigame fun at the end of the day. This is just one of them.
But you're collecting Wumpa Fruit. You're breaking the boxes.
You're doing something other than just pressing two buttons over and over again, and you're actually trying to get gems, and it makes sense.
Yeah, you get the gems and the crystals, and you get a power-up right there. Oh wait, that's a tutorial icon.
That's just
you know what, Icky, you had us worried. We legitimately thought that you were, like, actually sick.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Spyro literally made me sick right there.
I was worried,
but,
yeah.
Oh my god, this feels... I feel so much better right now.
Well, honestly, I should say, like, have you actually played Crash Purple?
No, I've only had Spyro Orange because I grew up with the Spyro trilogy on the PS1.
That's
so, like, I'm looking at this now. It's like, holy shit, what the fuck have I been missing?
By the way, for these kinds of mini games, you only get a gem out of them. But well,
I mean, it's a bonus mini game, but
that was close.
That was a close one.
Also, you missed out on the cutscene, but they actually get, unlike the Spyro trilogy, or excuse me, the Spyro Orange game, where it seemed pretty generic. This one seemed like the intro for this game kind of made it clear that, well, Cortex and Ripto, well, they're obviously evil partners, but Cortex had ulterior motives. It's like, tonight, we shall conquer the world.
Oh, cool.
And they even showcased the whole method of how they're transporting the disguised Riptocs into Crash's world.
No, but, like, look at that shit, too! Like, you're looking at the, Like, you look at the gems floating in the portals, you have little enemies walking around that actually prove a threat.
But what? Green pants?
Huh? Green pants?
Trust me, I don't get this either. It's just they just want to play around with the colors for whatever reason.
Look, like even here they put more effort in making, Crash interesting. You give him fucking
Well,
green pants, and I'm
to
like,
be fair-
oh shit, I'm all over that.
Okay, to be fair, this is only just the first half of the Wumpa Jungle.
But it looks so infinitesimally better compared to Spyro Orange.
Well, it's
Well,
almost.
let's see if you still hold that opinion for when we start going through the other
It's,
mini
it's
games. in this.
almost
Yeah.
again. It's almost as if this was clearly made by the Crash team on the Crash's engine, and thus they had a lot more like time to just. They didn't have to make a game from the ground up, basically.
Wait,
with the Spyro.
hold on a second. Whoa, hold on. You didn't even have to play the stupid gate opening minigame. You just pay and go forward.
Wait,
oh,
Link?
what are you doing here?
Get away from me, you stupid orange creature!
I think this actually
What
does.
did I tell my dragon friend about you? He'll rip you the fuck up!
I think this actually does get mentioned.
He'll
in Crash
beat
Purple.
your ass up. That's what he'll do.
I think this does that. I think that does actually get mentioned in Spyro Orange, where Blinky mentions that he saw someone. So they do try
Yes,
to have
he
some
did.
consistency.
Oh. Well, okay, but
consistency.
that doesn't make it any better.
Oh, by the way, there's a trading card down there, which I completely forgot.
Hey.
Wait, time
Stampede.
to blow up some sheep.
Stop.
Stop
There's-
the sheep.
Yep. And honestly, this is one of those mini games that I find kind of weird, because we have to blow up these sheep before they hit these nitro boxes, which will blow them up. But we're technically blowing them up anyway,
No,
so
no, no,
what
but if they
difference
tou-
isn't gonna make?
No, they're
Because-
blowing
because
up
if
the boxes
it-
behind you, the player.
Yeah. So if they blow this up, we're all gonna die.
Yeah,
Right.
commentary's over,
Yes.
man.
So we gotta stop them before they blow all us all up.
You could just move to the other side of the screen and blow up the nitro crates.
I mean, you know, it's okay. We could just incinerate as many sheep as we want. They're just fodder.
Was this a
But
power
yeah,
up
no,
in
like
the-
this is basically a mini game on a similar level of what we've already seen with Spyro. It's just
Was-
no Wumpa fruit, no crates, no none of that. It's just blowing up sheep.
But this,
Yeah, but at least this one has a little bit more rhyme and reason, I guess.
And the other thing is that at least this one isn't gonna take 2 minutes. We got it. It's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, and you
Was
have
that the-
like an
was that
actual
the-
counter to show you your progression.
Was that the Wumpzuka from 3?
Yeah,
I mean, the-
Bazooka.
Yeah.
I thought they.
Ouch.
And there
Has
we
a-
go.
has a deceptively
Oh yeah, by the way,
long reach.
both games got rid of the life system, so rejoice.
Yay.
Okay, but you do lose a
that.
few Wumpa fruit, I guess.
So we
Right.
were taught. Oh, hey,
Oh, hey,
Crunch.
Crunch.
I like Crunch. Crash, how are you going to save the world? Looking so puny. You need to pump some iron. Just step on that pad over there. Go on. Do
Oh,
it!
I hate these mini games. My thumbs hate these.
Time
Oh,
for
it's a button masher? It's a button masher.
Pump
Pump
it
it
up.
up. Okay, it's another button masher.
No, it is bad. I used to actually hate these. These. The hard. Ow. And actually, the harder they get, it does actually get really hard.
I mean, at least it's optional.
But the cut.
Yeah, it's clearly optional.
Yeah, it even says bonus there. You only having to play it.
right. It's just for training
Well,
cards.
then again, so are the other missions, bonus missions where we got Jim out of them.
Yeah, but, you know, they're optional. You don't have to play them.
But yeah,
Well,
the
you do
smooth-
need to get all the gems if you want the best ending.
Yeah, but, like, what kind of shit
Thanks
do you
for
get
the
in...
memories.
Okay, what do you get in this game that you... Oh, no, not the fucking...
Now
tank
now Crash gets to ride a tank.
But you can control it. At least it's not an auto scroller.
Yeah, and you got the bouncy balls, and yeah, you're not goaded into just running into a wall. And you have stuff to collect, too! That's great!
And the
I mean,
things to
honestly,
blow
I
up.
would have preferred this if this were an auto scroller, but at the same time, I mean, I guess it is nice to actually get to collect fruit and trash crates as always.
Like, you
So I
have
think
actual rhyme and reason to be doing this shit in here, but... It's,
Well, also because it makes sense. Well, also because this makes. Okay, that should have blown them all up. Also
No,
it
it's
just
because
makes-
they're not directly touching each other.
Okay. Well, it also just makes sense because Crash does these weird things. It didn't make sense for Spyro to be in a tank.
Yeah, just
Honestly,
make it like a
you
fucking
said-
isometric platformer for Spyro.
But he rode on a minecart in one of the games.
Not
Yeah, I
a
was about to
tank.
say-
Oh, you mean the trolley?
Yeah, the trolley.
Then make that a fucking, I don't know, top-down thing. Let the players
Well-
see more than just, I don't know, just straight ahead.
Sorry, wait,
It's stupid.
Wait, what's up, Pipe?
I was about to say, you make that accusation about Spyro never really having to do a lot of outlandish stuff out like Crash.
No, he
Honestly,
does.
I would argue that throughout his series, and by series I mean each of their respective trilogies, I would argue that Spyro was actually a little bit more guilty of doing that. Like, if you go through if you go through Spyro 2, and especially Spyro 3, it makes for decent gameplay variety, but just the stuff you have to do is just so bonkers.
It's so iffy in Spyro's case, but here it feels like they actually put in the fucking time and effort to properly
Well-
represent Crash.
Please humor me, Hype. Can you think of any really bonkers examples in the Spyro trilogy.
Well, let me see. There's one instance where you have to... You're on... This is in 3, I believe. You're on the ice rink, and you have to protect this ballerina cat from these hockey players.
No, it's...
Oh.
I know exactly which mission you're talking about. It's not a...
This
it's
mission
not,
right here kind of sucks.
Yeah,
it's not a, It's not a hockey player cat. You have to protect, like, this, ballerina,
Well, that's why I
this
said.
ballerina bear from hockey players.
Well, that's still the same thing I said. You have to protect the ballerina from these hockey players.
It's
Yeah.
hard. These
What the
yeah,
heck is with that camera change,
You have to aim for the top, hit their parachutes, and it's hard. It's hard to like hit them from far away. It's yeah.
And if any of those tanks get on the floor, you literally need to raise the little platform, the little doohickey that Crash is riding.
Well, I mean, at least you have more stuff to do.
The animations, it's a lot more visually stimulating and not just the same almost falling asleep as we did earlier with that one. What the?
What are you doing here? And why are you in a hula skirt?
Idea, boy.
Hey, Moneybags.
What do you need to buy the fruit for?
I think he is wearing a different outfit in every area in both games. He has a different little Mario Odyssey costume.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, what does he need to buy fruit
But
for, though?
unlike with Crash, you can just, unlike with Spyro, you can buy the cards and not have to win them in a game of chance.
No, you could buy them in Spyro as well. It depends on the tent you go into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are actual minigames, other ones they just give you the option.
Ooga booga.
Is there any point to the trading cards like at all?
No.
No. They're just a thing.
Jeez.
Which honestly, again, it wouldn't have been so bad if they were actually unique sprites, but no, they just ripped them straight from what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh, and I'd
because
just like to
fell
point
for
out
this.
that sound whenever you collect a thing in this game is ripped from Spyro 2.
Oh.
It's the sound whenever you collect everything in a level.
Those costumes are so bad. Like, there didn't even, at least
It's just
at
a
least
reptilian monster with a
No, but that's the
fucking
thing.
cartoon
But
mask.
at least the Crash lookalikes had the same color palette. Those ones, so whatever.
I think this game is really banking on you remembering that Crash is an idiot.
But then what about Spyro? Whatever. So
And it's like, here you get a friggin' race crash! It's like, this is...
Okay, yeah. Honestly, though, hype, you say that, you're honestly not wrong there, because, like, the thing with... I think I tried to say this earlier, but the cutscenes in the Crash game feel a little more natural, because it actually plays along with the character personalities. With the Spyro game, well, they just play from Spyro's perspective, where it's just him and only him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like over here, it looks like, you know, something that you would actually do in a Crash Bandicoot game.
So actually, as a quick little more positive thing, I guess it is fairly no-brainer to ask that you are excited for Reignited, Icky.
Damn fucking straight I am!
Well, he is going to be doing one of the games for the channel, so I hope he is.
I hope
And which
so,
one
yeah.
is he doing again, too?
Yippee skippy!
Okay, he's
yes.
doing 2, and I think I'm doing 1 then, or am I doing 3?
You're doing... No, Matt said he was doing 1.
Okay, so I'll do 3 then.
Alright, that sounds
But,
fair.
It's
But yeah.
so weird to hear Spyro 2 sound effects in Crash 1.
And unlock.
Well, how do you think I feel with the...
Oh,
Oh, Spyro Battle?
yeah, this actually has bosses. We jump right into this,
Regardless if you're playing orange or purple, you're still going through this set piece right here.
which is Spyro and Crash finally meeting, and what are they gonna do? They're gonna kill both of them.
They're going
Okay,
to
that
fight each other
artwork-
to turf off.
That face is ripped out of Enter the Dragonfly.
Yeah. And you can see the edge, and you could, for a second there you could
Oh, them
actually
off.
see the edges. You could actually see the edges of Crash's head, like that were JPEG'd out when they ripped it and tried to put it into this.
Oh, by the way, we're throwing more Molotov cocktails.
And bye,
for
Spyro.
some reason. Bye.
Wait,
You're not like those other creatures back at Dragon Castles.
Dragon Castle.
Crash
And
Bandicoot.
like this, for example. Around here, Spyro would just be, so you're Aku Aku and you're Crash. Huh,
It's like-
okay then.
That's it. And
Hey,
they're more
Spyro
fleshed out.
looks happy.
Wait, you say Cortez Madness to me? This seems like the work of
Like
Ripto.
the work of Ripto. Those creatures look an awful lot like his Riptox.
And Aku Aku says this here, unlike in Spyro, where they just, if a lot more bridged.
But the villainous affairs is himself, your enemy Ripto. The two of them working
Whereas
together
Uka-
may have enough power to take over this world.
You know,
I bet they want us to fight each other instead of going after them. But
And let
hey,
me-
if we team up, they won't stand a chance against us.
And let me guess. And let me guess. In the Spyro game, they're a lot more like deliberately like we're going to work together now.
Basically.
Jeez.
At least
Dingo
I
Dog.
Oh,
assume
hi,
you guys
Dingle
can-
Dill.
Dingo Dial.
I mean, at least I'm sure Iki knows that for sure, because he played that game like this one.
Actually, just real quick, I think it was Iki that brought this
Oh
up.
yeah, by the way, this in the Crash Purple's where we get this cutscene, and Spyro Orange, they just plop you right into the world.
It's like they didn't even try.
One clearly got more love than the other. Yeah.
That's fair.
I was about to say, just, Iki was making that remark about Uka Uka. I think he's right. I think outside of the first two games, this is probably like the only...
What is with Crash's face there?
I can't feel my legs.
So,
And
yeah,
I didn't even know I had legs. I thought it was just a torso and feet.
I guess that's that then. We're done.
Yep. That's it. That's it for our look at on Spyro Orange and Crash Purple.
Thank God.
I mean, if all that steam and salt you heard throughout the commentary is any indication, I mean, this is just one of those games that you'll either think is all right, or those that you'll think is literally the spawn of Satan himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what he said.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, see you all for the Reignited trilogy.
Yeah, get the hell out of here. Go GameStop. Buy the game. Just go for it.
Ba-da-ba!
Yeah.